Good evening, my dear kids. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the electric potential. Now, if you see the previous classes, you had the discussion about the electrostatic potential energy, and there are quite number of numericals are being discussed on it, and the emphasis on the how you can apply the conservation of mechanical energy in the presence of electrostatic field than the gravity and the elastic forces. So you might have seen what all the earlier numericals we did, all it was like related to point charges. No? So what happens if there is some body and a point charge? What about the interaction potential between these two? Can we find out? So what we know, interaction potential is only between the bodies. Now what happened here? The interaction potential between the body and the point charge or between the two bodies can be defined. For that, what happened? We need the concept of electric potential. And further, this electric potential not only just like helping us in solving the energy related problems, further, it gave us the more information regarding the electrostatic field. Now, after this, what happened? Further, we'll explore how that electric field and potential are related. That one. And see, if the more information of field we know, the better we can understand electrostatics. So the electric potential also a quantity which will help us a lot to understand the electrostatic field here. There's an overall, you can say, and the coming chapters, when we go for it, no, the potential is what will be using it very exclusively than the field. Okay, let me take you to the screen. So the chapter name is Electrostatics and Gauss Law. The topic is electric potential. The video number Electrostatic 11. Okay, my name is Sridhar Reddy. You know. Okay, let me begin with this one. Okay, the basic definition, what it says, like work done by action agent in moving a test charge from infinity to that point. So electric potential at a point is defined as, first we'll define electric potential. Let me write the definition. At a point is defined as work done per unit charge in moving it work done by an X agent. Work done. Anyway, I can adjust things. Oh, I'll move it. Work done by an external agent per unit charge in moving it from infinity to that point. Okay, this is defined as the electric potential. The symbol what we use is capital V. From that point, okay, and what are the conditions? The external agent should move the unit charge slowly without acceleration. Okay, there's a condition. It should move it very slowly. Suppose I have here a point charge. With this one. So I'm an action agent. So here is what the charge plus Q charge, which I'll be holding it. This is the point charge. It is a fixed here. This will not move. This is what initially the separation is infinity. And finally, I'll bring it to a point which is at a distance r. So what this external agent will do, he is a person. What is the external agent? Some agent who can be that one. So to make you understand, I'm bringing the idea of person. So what is external agent? He will hold the unit charge and he'll move slowly from rest to rest, from infinity to that point. How much of work done by him per unit charge? To move the charge slowly from infinity to that point is defined as the electric potential. Okay, now when it's moving slowly, what actually happens? We'll see somewhere here. There's a unit charge, it will be positive. So how the electrostatic repulsive force will be acting in this direction. The work done by external agent should be in this direction. And what this external agent, you have to shift this charge slowly from infinity to this particular point. So it should do work against this electrostatic force, no? It should do work, or he has to move it slowly. So now work done by external agent. So what is the definition? Work done by external agent per unit charge. Now what is work done by external agent? Will be, should be equal to F external dot dr bar by q. In moving charge from infinity to that particular point. Now you look at the, as it is moved slowly, so F external should be equal to Fe. What is Fe? K Q Q by R. Then how do this external force and how we measure R? R I'll measure from here, no? So dr bar will be negative. So therefore, because as the person move the test charge, what will happen to this value of R will decrease here. So dr bar will be decreasing that one. So therefore negative sign is brought. So dr infinity to R by Q. So this will become KQ R, sorry, R square, it is R square dr by Q KQ okay, further this will become is equal to minus K, integral of R to power of -1 will be -1 by R infinity to R. So finally I'll end up with the equation potential at point P is equal to KQ by small r. This will be our answer. Now what is the unit for this? The unit for this will be volt or joule per coulomb. The SI unit is what? The volt, what we take it. Huh? This is the unit. Like this, the potential idea is brought here. So now how that, so for positive point charge, what is the potential? Will be positive, means like if there's a point charge. Let me describe a few things. So at a distance R1, what is the potential? Will be at point 1. Next, let me define at various points. So then at a distance R2, what are the potentials at 1 and 2? Potentials at 1 given by KQ_R1. Potential at 2 is given by KQ by R2. Potential similarly due to negative charge. Potential at 1, it will be minus KQ by R1. Potential at 2 will be minus KQ by R2. Potential will be positive or negative. It all depends upon the type of charge. Then similarly, if there are more than 2 point charges are there, suppose this is R, this is R. What is the potential at point 1? There's a charge. Potential at point P is given by KQ1 by R. KQ2 by R. Similarly, potential at point P is given by KQ1R minus KQ2 by R. What you should do, potential is a scalar quantity. Electric potential, let me write it here. Electric potential is a scalar quantity. So therefore, what is the resultant potential at a point? Should be the algebraic sum of potential due to individual charges. At a given point potential, okay, let's analyze further. If there are two identical point charges are there. Let me discuss all the possible cases. Okay, now here both are positive, one positive, one negative. This case not data. Okay, the three situations is what I have. Okay, let me analyze the potential at these three cases one by one. So first, potential at point P. I'll add up due to each point charge KQ by R, KQ by R. See, at point P due to this charge KQ by R, due to this charge KQ by R. So total how much it will be? 2 KQ by R. What is the field strength at point P? So there's a 1, there's a 2. Due to 1, the field strength will be E1 like this, due to this E2. And we know E1 equal to E2 is equal to KQ by R square. And what is the resultant field at point P? E1 bar minus C2 bar. So this should be equal to 0. So at point P in the first case, what is the field strength? What is the potential? Non-zero. But what about the field strength? Will be 0. Can happen. Huh? Do remember, very important. The field strength here will be 0, but potential will be non-zero. That is one of the case. Just I'm trying to give a better picture about the potential and the field. We are trying to compare both at a given point. Next situation. Let me call this as 1, this is 2. Potential at point P is given by KQ by R minus KQ. Why this? Because the negative charge. No? In fact, it is like this. The resultant will be 0. What about field strength? Due to positive charge, E1 will be towards right. Due to negative charge, also towards right. The resultant field will be E1 bar plus C2 bar. Both will be directed in same direction. So what is the resultant field? 2 KQ by R square. Will be directed towards right. Look at here, potential is 0, electric field strength is non-zero. Possible, no? So no, nothing, so it can. Similarly, third situation, the potential at point P will be non-zero. The potential at point P will be non-zero. Potential at point P will be K 2Q by R plus K minus Q by R. KQ by R. Field strength at point P. E1, E2. I'll add up 2 KQ by R square plus KQ by R square. 3 KQ by R square. So there's a field towards right. Both are non-zero. Fine. So all possibilities are there. Then at infinity, what will happen? At infinity, in all the cases at infinity, potential and field both will be 0. At infinity, in all the cases at infinity. So in this way, what we can conclude here, for a point charges or for point charges, we can bring a situation of this kind. So when you're calculating potential, what you should do, take the algebraic sum of potential due to individual charges. When you're calculating the electric field, you should take the vector sum of electric field due to individual charges. I think there's a conclusion which I should conclude here. The resultant potential, there's an important conclusion. The resultant potential at a point is equal to algebraic sum of potential due to individual charges. The resultant electric field strength at a point is equal to vector sum of field due to individual charges. So this is about the vector sum, the very specific these words, vector sum, algebraic sum. Hope you are able to correlate things, electric field, vector sum, potential, algebraic sum, because potential is a scalar quantity, electric field is a vector quantity. Like this, for more than one point charge also, we can find out the resultant potential at a given point. Okay, what all we are discussing is again confined to only the point charges only. Okay, let's see that what is the, sir, what is use of this potential? The very basic question. Okay, let me begin with this. So I do have point charge. This is so they are separated by distance r. Let me call this as 2. This is 1. Or point P, I'll call it. This is a point P. Now we know what is interaction potential G, K, Q, small q by R. Similarly, potential at point P due to the, the point charge plus Q. So there should be K, Q by R. The potential at this point due to this particular point charge. Okay, or else I think you'll get confused. I'll write 1. Q1 and Q2, I'll write it. That's a better idea. Potential at point 2, potential at point P due to point charge Q1 at the location of point charge Q2. What is the potential due to first point charge? Should be equal to KQ1 by R. Okay, let's try to correlate. This U should be equal to BP into Q. Very important equation. Than this is very important. Very important idea. So what is telling? If you want to find out interaction potential between two charges systems, so what you should do here, if you can find out the potential, as with the help of that also, you can get the interaction potential. This is what I'm going to explore in the interaction potential between the bodies here. Okay, this is about the field due to, so like a potential due to point charges. Okay, now we'll go for potential, electric potential due to different charged bodies. So what are the charged bodies? So first I'll start with the ring. Okay, at point P, we have to, so what is the charge here? Uniformly charged ring it is. let the total charge on the ring, let it be plus Q. Agreed? Huh? This one. Okay, now this is the axis of the ring. On the axis, at a distance x from the center of the ring at point P, we have to find out the electric potential due to uniformly charged ring. So what we have is uniformly charged ring. And then what was our method? So we'll assume a small elemental charge at a distance small r. So let the charge on the small ring, let it be dq. First, we'll find out the potential at point P due to that elemental charge. So potential at that point should be equal to K dq by R. Now you look at any point on the ring, will be at a distance small r. It's like a cone ice cream. So this will be like a slant length of the cone. So you take any point on this ring, will be at the same distance r, will be at a distance r only. Cone ice cream. Okay, here some what will be that? I do like chocolate flavor. So here the ice cream will be there, no? Okay, fine. Huh? So this is the wafer which will be there. So you look at the any point on this ring will be at a distance r from the apex of the cone. On the wafer. So suppose that this is the thing, no? So this will be the wafer. Here this part is ice cream. Huh? You take any point on this particular circular circumference of this ring will be at a distance r from the apex of the cone. This what here. So I define the potential. Then since r is constant or variable, in fact it's a constant. So then what is the net potential? So I'm going to integrate K dq by r. So K by r integral of dq. So the net charge on the ring is capital Q. So K Q by R. Okay, this will be the potential on the axis of the ring or potential at point P. Similarly, I want potential at the center of the ring. Put x equals 0. So K Q by R. What is the potential at the center of the ring? VO. KQ by R. Potential on the axis at a distance x will be KQ by under root of R square plus x square. Like this, we can find out the electric potential due to uniformly charged ring. Got it? Huh? This one. Okay, what about the variation? So any graphs? Can we check for any graph? Potential at the center, it will be KQ by R, and as it at the center will be maximum, no? So as you move away from the axis, the potential keeps on decreases. The potential keeps on decreases. So is it okay, the curve? So this will be the variation. It is a positively charged. For negatively charged one, the curve should be because for negatively charged potential will be negative, no? And for positively charged ring, the potential will be positive. So where it will be, here you can say minimum at, for negatively charged ring, minimum at center, maximum will be at infinity. For positively charged ring, the potential will be maximum at center, minimum will be at infinity. The reverse, because the negative sign potential can be negative also. Okay, like this for charged ring is what we have brought it. So, okay, we'll take the next situation. So I do have next another case. Yeah, let me take. Not perfect ring. Yeah, fine. Different parts of the ring. Okay, this one quarter will have a one type of charge. I do have the colors are there, so let me use it so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, this ring, the radius of the ring, let it be r. Let it be say like a 3r. At a height 4r on the axis. At point P, we have to find out the gravitational potential. So here the charges, let me go for the different charges. Here let it be 4q. This quarter will be negatively charged. Okay, let it have minus q. This will be again positively charged. Let it be 2q. This quarter, let it be negatively charged. Minus 3q. Okay, no, can we say this is uniformly charged? No, non-uniformly charged ring. Non-uniformly charged ring. So what is the potential at various points? So now again, what is the basic definition? The potential at point P is equal to kq by small r. No, the net charge on the ring. The net charge on the ring is how much? 4q plus 2q, 6q. 6q minus 4q will be 2q only. So the potential at point P is given by k into q net, or the charge due to individual part, plus 4q minus q plus 2q minus 3q by this distance. What is this distance? Let it be r. So from geometry, this will become k into, or say like a 2q. What is small r? Root of 3r whole square, 4r whole square. There's a potential at point P. But sir, like, you can ask question like, sir, how come this is like the charges are different? See, you take any point on the ring, at what distance it will be? At a distance 5r only. And potential is scalar quantity. So what is the net charge on the ring? Will be 5q, 2q. Because all points on the ring will be at a distance smaller. So therefore we can take the resultant of the charge on the ring, k into resultant of charge on the ring by the distance of the point P from the ring. So this is equal to 5r. Similarly, potential at the center of the ring should be equal to k plus 4q minus q, 2q minus 3q by, this is 3r. So 2kq by 3r. We can find out field, but field what when you have to take the vector sum. Little bit you have to be on that. Since the potential algebraic sum, no, little bit we are able to get the problem very easily. This is on the axis. This is at the center of the ring. Okay, these are some things are there. Now we'll go for the next type of body. So I have a hemispherical shell. So what is hemispherical shell? Already, I think in the electric field strength you have come across. Where the charge will reside for hemispherical one. This will be the radius r. Okay, able to understand, no? So this is where the charge will reside only on the surface, no? So here is what? The charge will be distributed, let it be uniformly. So here sigma is what we define. Exactly at the center O, we have to find out the charge. So this is like a, you take a lemon, cut into 2 halves, squeeze out the juice, then you get like some sort of like a hollow region, no? This will be hollow. Like a bowl, better, I think in the kitchen if you go for that, no? There's a bowl, no? So so what all that carbon deposited on the outer surface, let that be charged. Inside there's a bowl, will be hollow region. So now it's at exactly at the center of the bowl. What is the potential due to charge present on its surface? I think kitchen bowl, everyone knows. Like this is what I'm taking an example here. So this, how to construct this one? So this should be a non-conducting substance, like a this particular bowl made of tin bowl, tin hemispherical shell it is. At center point O, we have to find out the field strength. Get this one. So what is this actually made up of? Like a plastic, paper, glass, or any non-insulated. Then what I do is like I'll deposit a charge on outer surface. No, not on inner, charge on outer surface. Then I'm asking what is the potential at the point O. Now you take any point on the surface, at what distance it will be. Will be at a distance r only. So you take any point. Hope I'm giving diagram like this. If you take any point on the ball, it will be at a distance r only. So therefore, what is the potential at point O? We need not to do integration. Actually, we are supposed to do integration. So let me save time. So potential at point P. So dV naught should be equal to K dq by r. Now, what is sigma? Sigma we should define as total charge by 2 pi r square. I'm interested to express in terms of sigma. So now, if you take any point on the surface, it's by the distance r only. So like you take any point on the surface will be at a distance r from the center O. So therefore, if I integrate this, K dq by r. So this will become V naught kr integral of dq. So this should be equal to the net charge on the hemispherical surface. So what is q is equal to? Sigma 2 pi r square, we'll write it. So what is K? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So sigma r by 4 to epsilon naught. Okay, this will be our formula. What is the potential at the center of hemispherical shell? Sigma r by 4 epsilon naught. Okay, now similarly we'll go for potential due to solid hemisphere. Now, what is a solid hemisphere? I'll try to draw a better diagram. Okay, exactly at the center, we are supposed to calculate the potential due to solid medium, where the charge is present throughout its volume. So there's everything I should shade the same color, not like different color. Not like surface, one surface. Throughout the volume, the charge is present. The charge is present throughout the volume. It's like a half lemon or half of the watermelon or half of the orange fruit. So where the charge is present, it's a 3D, it's like the volume charge density will come into picture. Okay, I agree this. So here the rho density rho will come into picture. Let this be the radius r. This is a point O. At exactly the center O of the solid hemisphere, we have to find out the electric potential. Tell me what should be the assumption here now. Again, I'll assume that this solid hemisphere is made up of like a shells. Shall we go for it? Shall we assume it to be made up of a thin shells? Agree this one? Oh, no. So I'll assume again, let me go for. So I'll assume that this particular solid hemisphere is made up of a thin shells. I'll try to give the better diagram. Okay, no, I think, okay, I don't know how the diagram. Okay, this D. And there's a thin shell, which we are supposed to make assumption. Okay, let this distance be X. Or you take any point, will be at a distance X. What is the radius of this? The radius of this is R. Okay, that we know it. The radius of solid hemisphere. So in this solid hemisphere, I'll assume it to be made up of a thin shell, thin hemispherical shell. So what is this? Thin hemispherical shell of radius X and thickness dx. First potential at point O due to this shell. So potential, what is the charge on this? Let it be dq. So dq, how we define? Sigma into the charge on a thin shell. Okay, that's the area of a thin shell. Area of a, or volume of a thin shell, we'll write it. There's a charge on, charge of, you write better, charge of thin shell, thin hemispherical shell. No, how much? So this should be, sorry, it should be rho. So what do we get? This will be rho into, what is the volume of this will be 2 pi x square into dx. Dx is a thickness. Huh? Where is the dx? The dx will come here. Able to get this? 2 pi, no, not like 2 by 3 pi arc pi x cube. I'm not asking the volume of the hollow region, the volume of this green color region. It should be equal to surface area into thickness of shell. So what is thickness? Thickness is dx. Surface area is 2 pi x square. I think, hope you are able to understand what I mean to say here. Okay, let's substitute here now. Potential at center due to this thin shell should be equal to k dq by x. K x, what is dq? Rho 2 pi x square dx. So this will become 2 pi k rho x dx. Now what should be the limit? Zero to r, because what is the maximum permitted value of x? X should become equal to 0 to r. So therefore this will become 2 pi k rho r square by 2. 2 pi, what is k? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught rho r square by 2. Okay, look at this. This is the potential at the center of solid hemisphere. Now, what is dV naught? We should call potential at the center due to thin shell. So what is the basic idea? We assume that the solid hemisphere is made up of thin hemispherical shells of radius x and thickness dx. Like that, if you add up the layers of increasing the layers of increasing radius, then what happens? We'll get a solid hemisphere. Okay, like this, we'll get the potential at point O at the center of the solid hemisphere. Getting this one? So these are the different types of bodies you'll come across. Again, once again, the primary question: why we should study this potential? Almost for different bodies, I'm showing it like you have to calculate potential like this, potential like this. So finally, what is the use of this? Okay, now the application starts. So I want to find out the interaction potential G between the ring and the point charge, which is kept on the axis. I think there's a very primary best question is what student can ask himself. So this is the charge Q2, the charge on the ring, let it be Q1. So this is what? Charged ring. Okay, see no. Find the interaction potential between the ring and the point charge. Let me ask this very primary question. Find the interaction potential G between the charged ring and point charge. How we can find out? Because we have formula only like this, no? Can we write the formula like this? Because the ring, see, if this were here, if there were a point charge, okay, we would have written. But this is a charged body, no? And this is a point charge. This formula is applicable for 2 point charges. We have a body and a point charge. It is what the idea of the potential will come into picture. Where the point charge is kept, let it be at a point P. Now, let me calculate first potential at point P due to ring. How much it should be equal to K Q1 by root of R square plus X square. I think this just now we have discussed. Then the interaction potential G is given by potential at point P into the point charge. When point charge is at on the axis, when point charge is at center of the ring, put X equal to 0. So what is this? Interaction potential G between the charge ring and the point charge. Or you want to, you write it. I think this will be a very best approach, no? What we started with electrostatic interaction potential G between the point charges, now that we are extending for the electrostatic interaction potential G between the body and the point charge. Now further topics will go for the interaction potential G between the two bodies also. We will focus on that also. Got the method? Huh? There's a one generalized thinking. No. What is the advantage? So we can do so many problems related to this. Not only this one, so many application problems are there. So suppose like there are two charged able to understand the diagram. We have two charged rings. The charge here, let it be Q1. The charge here, let it be Q2. The radius of this ring let this be A, let this be B. And the separation between them, center of the rings, let it be C. This is 0.01, this is 0.02. Let me write X, center, let me use symbol C2. Now I'll take a test charge. How much of work done by an exchange in moving a charge from 1 to 2? Like that, if the questions are asked, or what is the potential difference between these 2 points they ask, can we find out? The answer is definitely S. How work done by exchange agent or work done by electrostatic forces will come into picture. Again, we do have relationship between the potential and electric field. Let me just, I'll come back to this. Let me introduce to the topic of this one. Suppose say for a point charge, for a point charge, we know what is the field strength here? KQ by R square. At the same time, we know also potential KQ by R. So I think we know everything. So we know for the point charge, what is the field strength and also what is the potential at a distance R at point P. Then Let me differentiate this. dV equal to kq by r square into dr, or dV by dr is equal to what we get? kq by r square. What is kq by r square? It is in fact E, no? Yes. So what is telling? The electric field strength and the potential, they are related by this particular condition. Similarly, we know work done F into dr, work done by electrostatic force. Work done by whom? Work done by an electrostatic force. Work done by electrostatic force, what we write it as equal to minus of the, why do negative sign? Because work done by electrostatic force should be equal to minus du, because electrostatic force is a conservative force. And work done by conservative force should be equal to minus of delta. Already you come in work point chapter, the same similar here. So this should be equal to FF, I can write Q E bar dot dr bar. What is the potential? Can we write in terms of potential? This should be equal to Q into dV. The Q gets eliminated. So integral of minus dV equal to integral of E bar dot dr bar. So let this be point V1, V2, A, B. This is A, B. So this will become VA minus VB is equal to integral of, or VB minus VA, let me write it. That negative sign, let me bring. Okay, there's a one ideal relationship between. So what is this equation? If you know field, electric field strength, you can bring the potential difference. If you know potential, you can get the electric field. You see the relationship between them. Something very important later in the relation between E and dV by dr, between electric field and potential, we are going to go in detail. Now, timing is what I just brought an idea. If you know the electric field strength, you can bring the potential. If you know electric field, you can get the potential difference. If you know potential in a region, you can get the electric field. Getting the idea, no? So for any charged body, if you know potential, can you get the electric field? Let's differentiate. You get the electric field. Or if you know electric field, you integrate to get the potential. Getting the idea. There's some. I just wanted to students to don't accept it blindly, sir. How come you're writing this one? No, we are not writing it blindly here. I just take example of the point charge. From the point charge, what happened? I'll just relate them. So it's not that so nothing is some blind assumption here. Like that for means for every charge body, this is applicable, or only for point charge? No, for every charge body, this is applicable. I don't think that this is applicable for only point charge. Since I took example of point charge, okay, that's all then. So it's not doesn't mean that only for point charge. It can be applicable for ring, disk, any type of arbitrary charge system. These relationships are valid. Now, one more thing regarding the potential. Potential is defined electric potential is defined only for conservative fields. For non-conservative field, it is meaningless. For non-conservative field, it will be a meaningless quantity. You can write in non-conservative field, but it's a meaningless quantity. So the electric potential is defined only for a conservative field. Okay, there's a one idea. Next one more thing. Suppose if you have a point charge, there are several things I think before going for some application. Let me introduce to all this. So if you have a point charge, So we know these are the field strength, lines of force. Hope you can recollect. Then we have a concentric. So let me draw a there are thin concentric shells. There are thin concentric shells. Okay, look at now. There's a point charge. So what we have kept at center, point charge. Okay, what are these? These circles? No, they are concentric shells. Concentric imaginary shells. So what it's telling is like, shall I call these are equipotential surfaces? Why equipotential? Because due to a point charge, the field will be radially outward. So I'm showing a plain diagram, but basically it's a radial field. So then I'm going to draw a concentric shells of different radii. Then the potential at all points, it will be same. The potential at this point and the potential at this point should be equal. Any reason? Because the both points are at same distance. Similarly, potential at 0.3 and 0.4 should be equal. Similarly, potential at 0.5, 6, 7 should be equal. So what are these thin constant imaginary shells or equipotential surfaces? At all points on that surface, the potential is same. So I'll call that as equipotential. Finish over. then how equipotential surfaces and the electric field strength vector will be always, they'll be perpendicular. Noticing? I'm trying to indicate at several points, not only at few. So the electric field vector will be directed normal to the or perpendicular to the equipotential surface. It's a basic condition. Okay, got the idea. So this is about the electric potential. See, we have started with a certain small definition. Finally, what happened? It is giving us so good information. No? It is so good information it's giving. Suppose say if the electric field is like this, this is a uniform electric field. How the equipotential surface? The equipotential surfaces here are going to be what are these pink vertical lines? They are the equipotential surfaces here, or lines, you can whatever you can call it. And regarding anything, can we say about the potentials 1, 2, 3, 4? Definitely, I can say that V1 greater than V2 greater than V3 greater than. Any reason for that? The electric field vector will be always directed from higher to lower potential. Any reason? Let's come for here. As you move away from the point charge, what will happen to the electric field strength? Will decrease. Potential will decrease, and how electric field vector will be directed from higher to lower potential, where potential will be more at this point or this point. At point near to the point charge, the potential be more, no? So therefore the electric field vector will be always directed from higher to lower potential. There's one more important thing. I see so many things. The E bar will be always directed from higher potential region to lower potential region. Getting this one? So these are equipotential lines. Okay, yeah, there's a plane diagram. I'll call this one. What are these? Equipotential lines. So depending upon the different types of field, these particular equipotential lines or surfaces, we can draw it. So now, so finally, what we can suggest here now? Any new unit for electric field can we bring? Volt per meter. Okay, later we'll explore in the E equal to minus dou V by dou X. Okay, let's come forward. Once again, this topic will get repeated. Yeah, similarly here, this is a purpose. I want to find out the work done exchange in moving a test charge from 1 to 2. Okay, what we have, I have a formula like this, no? dV is equal to minus of E bar dot D bar. I want to move it from 1 to 2. Oh, sorry. Let me multiply the charge to it. So I want work done. Okay, we'll do one thing. I want the work done. Work done to move it from 1 to 2. So directly, shall we take help of this one? Integral of V1 to V2 dV by charge. Or Q or I should multiply the Q. I should multiply with the Q. Because what is the work done? Work done, nothing but potential, you know. So how we define potential? Work done per unit charge. So this should be this one. Directly multiply this with this, we'll get the required answer. Now, if I can find out the potential difference between these 2 points, the problem will be solved. So this should become equal to work done by electrostatic force in moving a charge from 1 to 2 is given by this particular formula. Okay, some technical problem was there. Yeah, let's continue this one. So we have to get this relationship here. What is it? So I'll do one thing. Let me multiply with this Q. So if I multiply here, this will become force, and this will become work done in moving a charge from 1 to 2. I'll write one more step. I wanted to some relationship here. Or let me no. So this will be thing. So what is this quantity? I'll send it to here. Minus of Q dV V1 V2. This should be equal to F into dr 1 to 2. This F into dr is nothing but work done by electrostatic field in moving a charge from 1 to 2. So what is this side? V2 minus V1. Finally, work done by electrostatic field in moving a charge from 1 to 2 should be equal to V1 minus V2. Work done by action agent should be negative of work done by electrostatic force. So therefore, based on this, what we can write it as work done by action agent. This should be equal to Q V2 minus V1. So what is my question? Find the work done by action agent in moving a charge from 1 to 2. Let me shift it this down. I'll continue the problem. It's a very good problem. Just I'm trying to demonstrate the idea of potential here. Now, what is the question? Find the work done. WD means work done. Okay, let me explain. Find the work done by an external agent in moving the test charge Q from center C1 to C2. So there's external agent. So you have to move the charge from 1 to 2. So what is the formula for this work done by external agent in moving a charge should be equal to Q V2 minus V1. What are V2, V1? Potential at the center of the ring, potential at C2, potential at this point. Due to charge present on this ring and also due to this one, that should be equal to K Q2 by B plus K Q1 root of A square plus X square. Similarly, potential at 1 will be K Q1 by A plus K Q2 by root of potential at this point potential at point C2 due to this charge will be KQ2 by B. Due to this charger ring at this point C2 due to charger ring should be KQ2 by B square. I'll have colors, I'll shade it so it'll be easy for you. Getting the idea? No, potential at point C1. This will be due to the at point C1 due to the ring 1. Okay, fine. So I just give the description of different things. It's asking to get the, so substitute this value of V1, V2 here, you'll get the required answer. So the primary purpose of electric potential is these things. It'll be very easy for us to study the electrostatic field with the idea of the potential. Then electric field strength, the potential is going to help us a lot. So you can see work done. I'm able to get very easily here. Okay, there's one more numerical is what I just picked up. So we have two charged rings, two concentric charged rings are there. So yellow color ring, what you see is a positively charged ring of charge plus Q and radius R. And the green color charged ring, it is having a charge minus 8Q and the radius 4R. Agreed. Now, so what is telling? At a distance 3R, a negative point charge with what minimum velocity it should be projected so that it can reach the center of the ring. The one basic condition is what he has given. This is the axis of the ring, from where it should be projected from the axis of the ring. Okay, so that it should reach the center of the rings are fixed. The rings are not free to move. Okay, how to get this one? So now, shall we apply conservation of mechanical energy between these two? No, before that, check the field. What about the field in this region? How do it will vary here? So let's pick up some point. So let this be at a distance X. Let's calculate the electric field strength at point P. And then we'll come to the discussion. So this should be equal to due to the positively charged ring KQX by root of R square plus X square. Okay, this is like this, no? Okay, due to positively charged ring, okay, we'll call this as 1, this ring as 2. Positively charged ring, let me give the number 1. Negatively charged ring as number 2. So the field strength here will be E1 will be like this, or I'll use that specific colors. Will be easy for you. This will be the E1. Then due to negatively charged ring, E2 will be like this. I need another color. Hello, hello. Yeah. Hope you are able to see that yellow color. So how these two fields will be in opposite direction. So therefore I should take the vector sum. So then this will be K or one step I'll write it. What is X? X is the at point P we are finding out. This should be equal to radius of the larger ring. Now look at this one. So let me check. Is it 0 anywhere? Let me solve it. This one. Is it 0 anywhere? So if I solve it, KQX will get, so this will become KQX R square plus X square to the power of 3 by 2, 8 equal to 8 KQX 4R square plus X square to the power of 3 by 2. So what will get eliminated? KQX will get eliminated. So we have this one. So solving this, I'll end up with X equal to 2R. Field will be 0. The net field will be 0. So in this region, let me put some boundary. In this region, the field strength will be directed in this way. Got it? As it's a negative charged particle, what you are projecting, the field will be in this direction. In this region, the field will be in this direction. E dash, E double dash. So I'll call this will be like a repulsive. This will be attractive. Any reason for that? Because see, here if it's 0 means on this side, the field should be attractive. Attractive in the sense open will be directed towards right. Here the field will be directed towards left. Because here I got 0. No, the negative charge particle in what direction will experience a force towards right. Once it crosses point P, then it is going to experience an attractive force. I need not to do anything. This attractive force, what happens, we'll see that the charge particle will easily reach this particular point. Getting the idea? So I think I'll explain through diagram, because you find very difficult. I'm trying to put everything in one diagram. You may find difficult. Only I need rings, no? With some suitable diagram, let me explain. So this is a point P. If charge particle is here, it will experience force in this direction. If the charge particle, when it is here in this region, it will experience force, repulsive force it will experience. Getting this one, the reason for that, because the net field at a distance less than 2R. Oh, yeah, we have this one. Okay, this is that negative charge particle. So what this charge particle is going to experience, negative charge particle will experience a force opposite to electric field. Negative charge particle will experience force opposite to electric field. So here what happens, when I project it, it will undergo retardation. somehow if it can just reach point P, afterwards open on its own, the net field here will see that it'll get accelerated, it'll reach point O. So now with what speed I should project? I should project with the point A with such a speed that if it can just reach point P, that'll be sufficient. So what is the idea now? What is the idea of the main? There's a main idea of the problem. The point charge minus Q should be projected with the speed so that it just reaches the point P. That is enough, huh? With the speed so that it just reaches the point P. From where? From here I should project with this minimum speed. So now I should apply the potential conservation of mechanism between point A and P. That the problem will be solved. I need not to talk about the point O. So for that open, we should calculate the potential set point A and B. So now who will do the electrostatic force will do work. And if you can recollect, we have derived some equations now. Work done by electrostatic force in moving a charged particle. Work done by an electrostatic force in moving a charged particle from 1 to 2. Should be called Q V1 minus V2. So let me apply the thing that one. So work done. So initial kinetic energy at A plus work done by electrostatic force in moving a charged particle from A to P should be equal to final kinetic energy at point P. Initial kinetic energy supplied of V minimum square. Work done in moving a charged particle. So that should be equal to charged particle into VA minus VP. Finally, this should be equal to 0. Potential at A minus potential at B. And there's a negative charge particle. Let me introduce that sign here. Okay, further simplification of this will be what we should calculate: potential at point A and potential at point P. Let me have all these things here only. Potential at point A due to each ring. So K Q by root of R square plus 3R whole square plus K minus 8Q root of 4R whole square plus 3R whole square. Potential at point A. Similarly, potential at point P is how much? KQ by root of R square plus X square plus K minus 8Q root of where X equal to 2R. Substitute all this. After substituting all this, you'll get an expression for this one. You have to substitute that VA and VP here. Solving this will end up with V minimum. I'll shift it down. Okay, no, you have seen, no? Let it get saved. Where X equal to how much? 2R. We have to substitute these things in this equation. So solving that, I'll get the expression for V minimum as a little bit lengthy. Please do KQ by R 6 root 5 plus root 10 minus 16. This is your answer. So there's a simplification part. Okay, the main idea is this one. So just directly from point A to point O, you should not apply. That's what it's telling. From point A to point A, don't apply. So check the field variation once. Without this potential, I think you have to struggle a lot solving this one. The force will be acting. Look at the force. Force will be variable. Then you have to integrate. The potential idea is very much beneficial. No, that's what the essential of studying the potential. It will simplify our calculation part. The potential concept will help us to easily conclude a problem. Otherwise, we should take care about the mathematics. Every mathematics will come. Your force will be there. You should know the nature of force. Then you have to integrate. A lot of integration will come into picture. To minimize that mathematics, we are taking help of this potential idea. Why minus Q? If the positive charge plus Q, negative charge minus Q. Let me end up the class. Okay, coming classes. So what happens if we can take few more problems related to the electric potential. The only theoretical idea is what I started with some numericals. So next class, what happened? We'll go for the numericals on the some potential. Few more numericals are there. How to calculate the potential due to various structures and application problems of this kind. Okay, I think today I introduced you to the idea of the electric potential due to first a point charge, then we went for electric potential due to ring. Then what was the necessity of potential? Why we have to give so much of priority? The idea of the work done will become very easy with the help of the potential. And we also seen that the electric field and electric potential, they are related. We just took help of the point charge and we got even the relationship between them. Then how the work done problems can be simplified. For that, what happened? We took help of potential. And what is another advantage of knowing potential? The interaction potentially between a body and a point charge or between a bodies. You can define only with the help of potential. So these are all the the theoretical part. Then I introduced to the various applications. So in the next class, we'll explore few more numericals on the electric potential. Meanwhile, okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye. See you. We'll meet in the next class again.